Hi FlossTube, it's Julie at Reflections Framing and Stitching. I am back for Chart of the Day video number 6, and today is Saturday the 28th of March. We had some rain, a little bit of thunder and lightning today, but it's currently dry and the wind is blowing a bazillion miles an hour. So I'm still here in the shop. I was supposed to go home about an hour ago, but I still had too much to do, so which is why I'm so late making the video today too, is I've been working. I did get a chance to read over everyone's comments from yesterday's video. Thank you so much for leaving a comment. I enjoyed reading about your 4th of Julys. It brought back a lot of memories for me. Things that I had kind of forgotten. Donna, putting firecrackers under the can, seriously? Not a good idea. I did something stupid one year around the 4th of July. It wasn't actually on the 4th. I think it was one of those years when we stayed home. And my brother and his friends had been opening up firecrackers and pouring out the gunpowder and then lighting the gunpowder on fire and making this kind of whooshy thing that was kind of pretty, and I thought I would try it. Big mistake. I got some of the gunpowder on my fingers and actually burnt the crap out of them. Never did that again. I told my mother that I'd burned them on the stovetop of the neighbor's stove. I didn't know it was, told her I didn't know it was hot, and I laid my hand on the stovetop, and I never did tell her the truth. I knew she'd probably kill me if I had told her what I'd done, and then she probably would have tracked Jeff down and killed him too. So, yeah, I learned a healthy respect for fireworks after that. Okay, let's talk about today's chart of the day. Is another sampler. The picture on the cover is, I believe, of the original sampler, and it doesn't do it justice at all. So take my word for it. It's a beautiful sampler. It's from the Needlework Press, and it's called The Little Busy Bee. Another thing my brother and I used to do, just as a side note, we had a hedge in the front yard of one of the houses we lived in growing up, and it attracted a lot of bees. And we decided it would be fun to go up to the branches and kill the bees, like by smashing them in our hands. Oddly enough, we never once got stung, but I don't know how we managed to escape that. So don't do that. And probably not a good idea. So what drew me? Just talk, Julie, talk. The colors are nothing like the cover. The colors are very soft and pretty. The verse up here, there's enough of it left that they could tell it was the "How doth the little busy bee improve each shining hour, and gather honey all the day from every opening flower." So they do have it charted in the, I can't show it to you, but they do have it charted in here if you wish to fully stitch it in there. It calls for, what does it call for? They give several recommendations for fabric. Heartland by Picture This Plus, Vintage Pecan Butter by Lakeside Linens, Buttercream by Lakeside Linens, or Vintage Country Mocha. And it's stitch count is approximately 270 by 238. It uses Classic Colorworks. They do give ADMC conversion on there. I did not pull the DMCs, except for the two that I did not have the overdyed for. I just ran out of time today, so I apologize for that. I'll do better tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. I may not do one tomorrow. Who knows? I think I have to work tomorrow here, so I may. It'll be a surprise for you. Anyway, called for fabric. I do have some vintage pecan butter, but not a whole lot at this point. So I brought the Vintage Country Mocha. You know, that's the one that's stamped on the one side, plain on the other. This one's stamped very, very softly. Some of them, sometimes it comes in and you can really see that pattern. But this one is done very soft. The fabric is beautiful. And the colors, let me spread them out. Colors, like I said, kind of soft and pretty. I worry a little bit about this color disappearing on this particular shade of fabric. That color, just so you know, is Onion Skin from Classic Colorworks. Another option that I thought would be pretty, this is Vintage Maritime White. And I think everything would show up on there. This is just going to be a sticky wicket because it's pretty pale, but I think it'll show up okay. And then, when I was playing, one of Dan's favorite fabrics that he just found out about is the beehive fabric from Fabric Flare. You know, that looks like honeycomb. Or I suppose it could look like chicken wire, if you wanted to look at it that way. But I thought, since the chart is about bees, I think you could do it on there and it might be kind of cute too. It's a good thought. It's 28 count though, so I might, you can't probably do it over one because I think those words, the saying is over one. So you might want to know that about the chart. But I think that would be kind of cute to have that honeycomb in the background. And that is what I have today for the chart of the day, which leads me to my question of the day. Sometimes I wonder how my mind works. Kind of every time I think about bees, this little song goes through my head from an old cartoon that I watched when I was little. Don't ask me what the name of the cartoon was. It was one of those, I think, after-school cartoons. But anyway, it had like a buzzard or a vulture, and one of them was not as fast as the other, and he flew very, very slowly. And he would sing this song as he was flying home about, okay, shall I embarrass myself by singing it? You kind of don't get the effect unless you do. So this don't go any further than you, me, and the fence post, okay? So the song went kind of like this, only probably more in tune. I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't My mama be so proud of me, I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. And then it went on from that. But kind of every time I think about bees, that song goes through my head, which led me to think about other cartoons I used to watch when I was a child. And I've had many favorites. Saturday morning cartoons growing up were amazing. They started at like 6 in the morning. You'd sneak out of bed, you'd go turn on the TV while mom and dad were still sleeping and sit and watch cartoons and eat a bowl of cereal. And you know, there was the Pink Panther, and there was Chip and Dale, and there was H.R. Puff and stuff, which really wasn't a cartoon per se, but it was on Saturday morning cartoon time. Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. My love for cartoons apparently started when I was a pretty small child, because there was apparently a cartoon called Felix the Cat when I probably had to be 2 or 3 at the time. And Felix the Cat had a bag of tricks that he carried around. And I'm getting this secondhand. I was told this by my mom. I have a vague memory of having a bag of tricks. I don't actually remember what it was. I think it was just a brown paper bag. And Mom said I would put odd things in there, like paper clips and fuzz off of a blanket, or string, just little odds and ends that I picked up around the house, and I'd carry this bag of tricks around with me. But again, I have no memory of that, so I don't remember the cartoon. I've looked it up a couple of times and it still didn't strike a chord. But apparently my love for cartoons started back then. Adam's favorite cartoon was always Thundercats, and he'd run around the house going, "Thunder, thunder, Thundercats, ho!" when he was a kid. The girls, I don't know that they had a favorite cartoon. If they do, I don't know what it was. So growing up, there were a lot of favorites. Dan said his favorite was Wile E. Coyote, which doesn't surprise me at all, because he would think it was funny that the coyote was constantly being having rocks dropped on his head or falling off cliffs or whatever. And he liked Chip and Dale. I really enjoyed Scooby-Doo a lot. As I got older, you know, Dan and I kind of married when we were kids. I was 20, he was 22. And we moved to Wyoming, and we got one channel on a little black and white TV. We had no living room furniture. There was a chair that was broken and a round coffee table that my aunt had given me. So we'd sit on the floor on Saturday mornings and watch the cartoons. And our favorite cartoon, I think the name of it was Drak Pack. I'm not sure. But the characters called the main character Boss. And for some reason we started calling each other Boss. They spoke in kind of a weird voice, and we just started calling each other Boss all the time. And Dan still calls me Boss. I don't think he's called me Julie in 40 years of marriage. Very rarely has he called me Julie. It's usually just Boss. Hey, Boss, this. Hey, Boss, that. So that one holds a lot of memories, although I really don't remember the show itself. And then again, as a teenager, you know, you kind of grew out of those cartoons and got into, do y'all remember American Bandstand? Not a cartoon, but still a Saturday morning tradition. Used to love American Bandstand. Loved it. Always wanted to go on there. Never did. So, what was your favorite cartoon when you were growing up or when you were an early 20-year-old? What memories does that bring back for you? There were just so many good ones back then. Those, again, poor kids, they just don't have that experience anymore. It's too bad. It really, truly is. But I'd love to hear about your favorite cartoons. And probably you're going to bring up some that I have totally forgotten, and I'll be so happy to remember them because it's been kind of fun remembering things from years past that you've kind of forgotten. So anyway, I'm going to head home. I'm kind of hungry. I was going to rattle on some more about Saturdays, but I don't want to bore you. So I'll save some more Saturday stories for later. And just wish you all a great weekend. Stay healthy. Get lots of stitching done. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.